And we're live, I believe. Hold on, let me wait for the actual YouTube and yeah, we're live on Twitch. The YouTube countdown is still going. There's a little delay. Okay, yeah, we're actually live. Just confirming. Sorry. Hi, welcome to the .NET Community Stand-Up. This week is all about .NET tooling. I'm Kendra Havens. I host a lot. Cody and Jordan couldn't make it today, but we have awesome other guests from the Nougat team. Chris and Jiachen, why don't you introduce yourselves? Chris, you go first.
All right. Yeah, so I'm Chris, and I'm a PM on the Nougat team. I've been on the Nougat team for about a year now, but I've already had an opportunity to work on a pretty even share of features on Nougat.org and on Nougat and Visual Studio. And we're really excited to show you a few of those today. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having us, Kendra.
Thanks.
Hi, Kendra. My name is Jia Chen, and hello to everyone out here as well. I'm the newest PM on the Nougat team. I actually started I want to say exactly 1 month ago at this point, and it's been a wild rush just getting to know everything. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, and we're excited to share it all with you.
Awesome. Okay, so first up, I have a couple links to just show off, just talk a little bit about what's happening. We always have a little URL list if you want to follow along with the topics that we're covering. Okay, it is in chat, hopefully on both platforms that we're streaming to. I'm getting used to a new streaming service that John and James figured out. It's awesome. So let me figure out how to share my screen. Okay, and it looks like it's on. Does that look good, guys? You have to tell me. Oh,
Yeah.
did it? You? Oh, okay, good.
No, it looks good.
Okay, so the first one is Microsoft Ignite happening in September. Register, sign up for updates, get excited about it. Will I have a talk? Won't I? I don't know yet. But it's best to luck favors the prepared. So that's what we'll be doing. This website also has a bunch of like promotions and vision content, and I think even stuff from last year, yeah, to watch on-demand sessions and stuff. So you can kind of see, I don't know, what you're missing. We also had a bunch of cool blogs up on the .NET blog. So Matt Mitchell took a deep dive into how .NET builds and ships, which is great because we had a bunch of repositories. We merged some repositories into more of a mono repo, and still the dependency graph is complicated. And when I say we have a dependency graph, we have an actual dependency graph. I'm a visual learner. I've never seen this visually. It's always just been in conversation. So seeing this and reading the post was super, super fun. So we kind of map out how our release schedule works and what dependencies and what needs to build with what and all of that. So it's pretty interesting. So I'd give it a click. We also have a little survey from Philip Carter. We are trying to improve the .NET project system. So we have a few questions for you, especially about what times that you expect things to be happening in your solution. So the time until you get full IntelliSense or the Solution Explorer and that kind of thing. So we want to, engage with you, talk about it. Project system is all open source. So we're just trying to get more feedback and get some input. We got a survey. Cool. And Olia wrote a really cool blog post about WebView 2, which now is available for .NET. Before it was just C and C++. This is basically hosting or rendering web content inside of WPF WinForms or WinUI as like a control, which is really, really nice. Excited for WebView 2. Is that it?
I'm excited.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff happening. Okay, so let me stop sharing. I know, try to avoid the Inception screen. So now we can move on to the main topic of today, which is Nougat team.
Yes, the Nougat team. And you know what? Because Chris and I are both PMs and we love to adhere to the stereotypes of PMs, we have a PowerPoint presentation prepared. Don't worry, it is. I know, but I know you can't see how many slides there are, but I promise you it's not a lot. So I'm going to share my screen now and just talk through some of our slides.
Let's do it. Very new platform. We're all figuring it out. I think I got to add it to the stream. There we go.
Oh, perfect. So,
Wow.
Hi everyone. Hi friends. We're Chris and Zhao Chen, and we're PMs on the NuGet team. And we're here to show off a few new features, either already rolled out or coming soon. Before that, however, we want to take the moment to address a really burning question in the NuGet community. And I think Chris has a lot to say on this. Chris has been here for a while more than I have, and he knows this is a matter of life and death. We've asked our devs, and last we checked, there was a 40 comment thread and counting actually, so they're still hashing it out. So Chris.
Oh, am I supposed to announce the question?
Yes. Or you should do the drum roll. Can you do a drum roll, please?
I can do a drum roll.
Okay, perfect.
How do you pronounce NuGet anyways? So I actually just tweeted a poll. It was retweeted by the official @NuGet account. So check it out and vote on your favorite way or your own personal way to pronounce NuGet. Of course, NuGet's just how I say it. I'm not even completely convinced. So, we could always rebrand. So let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
don't let us
sure.
bias you with our pronunciation. We're open to all things.
Yes, we value our community feedback, and you know what? Depending on the results we get, maybe the NuGet team will have a little sort of moment of introspection, try to figure out, is NuGet what we're gonna continue to be? Maybe we'll be NuGet, Nugget. Who knows? We'll find out.
So many options.
So many options, and the only way to find out is to tune in for the rest of this presentation, because we're going to touch upon our top 4 pronunciations at the end.
Ooh, okay. So we kind of know our options. I like it.
Sweet. So let's get rock and rolling. Let's start off with the demos.
Yay.
First off, we have advanced search and filtering on NuGet.org. So a huge thing for NuGet going forward is to improve the discoverability of packages within our ecosystem. Searching has been an area of frustration for customers for a really long time. And funny story, I was an intern at Microsoft in my last summer, and I actually worked with NuGet. I wasn't on a NuGet related team at all, but I was working with NuGet, and I just remember trying to track down packages and really having no idea what to do. So this feature is actually already live. So what I'm going to do is click through the current feature. Let me mess around with technicalities, stop sharing screen, start all of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this. I think especially my team might have had a very vocal asks in the past. The one that's most occurring to me is like filtering for a Roslyn Analyzer NuGet package specifically. But this is mostly our problem because we don't have a great platform for helping people discover new Roslyn analyzers that they can install on their project to get cool. Oh, sorry, I can add your screen back.
Oh, awesome.
So they can get cool like refactorings and code fixes and stuff that their teammates actually made that aren't from Microsoft. So, so we'll see what you got.
Yep. So for NuGet.org, overall, we know that we have a lot of packages over here on NuGet. And what I'm going to do is, I've heard about this cool package called Coverlet. I don't know much about it. I'm looking for a .NET Global tool. So I'm just going to type this in. And okay, 8 packages, cool. But I'm looking at these descriptions, and I have no idea which of these is the actual .NET Global tool. Kendra, just from a quick look, can you tell which one is the tool that I'm looking for?
No way. And it always gets more complicated based on like which publisher made it and what version they're going by. And if it's like a modification for someone else, oh, it's so complicated.
Oh man, I know. And sometimes I'll have to click in or something like that and try to track down that information like I'm, I don't know, PM Sherlock Holmes or something like that. And even so, I can't really figure out if this is what I'm looking for.
Right.
But now, drum roll, we have a new filtering section that allows us to filter by the package type. So let's say, hey, I want to find the .NET tool. We applied that, and wait, okay,
Oh,
so there's
nice.
just one now.
Like a .NET Global tool.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So we're
cool.
like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. Sweet. So we know the vast
Could you
majority.
zoom in a little bit on the
Oh,
filters
yes.
there? Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Let me zoom in.
Yeah, the ellipse is the right place. There you go.
Oops.
Oops. Uh-oh.
And now it's full screen.
Yep.
Now all is lost. No.
Oh God, it's over. I mean, at least it's.
Just hold or press F11.
Yes. Okay, there we go. All right.
Nice.
Up close and personal. Here are the variety of filters that we have. We have dependence, like we can sort by dependency, which is, as you can see, the vast majority of results for Coverlet. But we also now have different ways of sorting your results because people have different priorities when they're looking for packages, right? Maybe I'm a .NET developer who is working on something that I want to be super, super stable. I don't want any sort of bugs that might come up, even if the material is super cool, super new, all of that. So all I want is what is most downloaded of all my results. So in that way, I'm able to sort like this. But if I'm looking for the newest packages possible, then I'm getting results that are from 2 hours ago, 15 days ago. And suddenly my entire priorities are just entirely realigned. What that allows for is just a lot more control over the package searchability. And you know what? Like, we're really excited about this feature, not just because of the amount of control that we now have over the package searching experience. That means that not only are package authors more likely to get discovered by the exact people who want to use their packages instead of the top package owners getting the hits over and over again, but because it's a really huge step closer to one of the most asked features that we have here over at NuGet. In fact, the moment we rolled out this feature, we got people saying, hey, like this is really cool. Like we love being able to filter by package compatibility. Well, we want to be able to filter by package compatibility on top of all of that, because there's a gazillion versions of .NET, and sometimes the people who are using these different versions have different needs when it comes to what package they need for their project. With
Definitely.
package compatibility search, we will be able to search specifically for packages that can run on a framework of .NET that you are using. So if you're a very seasoned, experienced, grizzled .NET developer and you say, okay, I only want package versions that will run on my very old version of .NET, you can get that. Or if you're just starting out and you're saying, okay, I need .NET Framework or .NET Core, that's also an option for you. So there's no need to squint through a whole bunch of small text about the exact dependencies and all that to figure out what your package can run on. Something else we're looking at is scoring metrics for packages based on quality, security, a variety of other issues that our customers have expressed. They're totally interested in that. They want to know which packages are the most secure, are the most reliable. So now we have to find a way to make sure that they're getting exactly what they want.
Wow. So will that be like a rating system that the users end up using, just sort of like how they rate extensions, I guess?
That's a good question, and that actually leads right into my last point, which is we're still figuring out what is the best way to present this to customers, because we have heard that people are excited about this, but we don't know the exact way we want to implement this. So if you're curious or have any thoughts about what's going to be most helpful for you, tweet at us, send a message in the chat, and later on in the presentation, we'll also have a link for you to set up a call with us to chat. Don't worry. I mean, we don't bite.
Okay. That sounds really cool. I actually might sign up myself because, as I mentioned, I want like an extra filter type that is like rosin analyzers. You think we can swing that? If I get your commitment on air, then you have to do it.
That sounds
What are you
like
offering?
Okay.
Sounds like a trap.
It totally was. Cool. That'd be great. Yeah. So that was exactly a question we got in chat. Will this be possible to filter to .NET Standard? Sounds like we're working on it. That sounds great.
Yeah, and definitely reach out to us to talk more about what exactly are you experiencing in terms of like how would you like this functionality and what version? We would love to talk.
Sweet. Awesome.
All right. We have a couple more really cool demos coming up, and Chris will be presenting on, well, I don't want to spoil it. It's exciting. I'll let Chris do the drum roll.
All right. Well, let me try sharing my screen. Let's hope everything goes well.
I feel like the moment you say that, like every computer system just crashes immediately.
Yeah,
curse words.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Partially my fault. I got to get used to when the stream pops up. I have to manually add it too.
So wait, is it already showing? Yeah. Okay.
It is showing.
All right. Oh, yeah, I guess it's all right. So yeah, so the next feature that we want to talk, wrong slide. There we go. The next feature that we really want to talk about and that we're really excited to present is floating version support in the Visual Studio NuGet UI. So just to be clear, this is a feature that's currently under development that we should be coming soon to a Visual Studio near you. But there's still opportunity to give feedback and make sure that we're doing it the exact way that's going to provide the most value to you. But let me show you what we have in mind so far. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with a floating version, essentially it's a way to format your version request such that you can ask for the highest version within a specified range using the star. So for example, let's say I request 1.star. What I'm asking for here is the latest available version within the 1. range. So if I have these available versions, it'll resolve to 1.1. Now, if I request 2.star, it'll reserve with these available versions. I'm asking for the latest version in the 2. range. It'll give me 2.1. Now, let's say I keep 2.star and the package author releases 2 new package versions, 2.2 and 3.0, the ones in bold right here. Because I asked for 2.star, it'll give me the latest version in the 2. range. So I'll resolve to 2.2, even though 3.0 is newer. So this is a really nice way, especially if you have some dependencies that you have more control over, that you particularly trust, to automatically get updates without having to manually go through the update process. It can be really convenient, especially if you're just if you put the star in the third place for like security patches and things like that. That can be really helpful to you. So first, let me go over what that experience looks like today in Visual Studio. So today, the only way to be able to request a floating version is to do it manually in the project file, which already might not be the best experience possible, right? In general, we know that many of our customers like to be able to do everything that they have to do through the NuGet UI in Visual Studio. They'd rather not have to manually edit the project file. But let's go through this example here. So here I've requested version star from NuGet.packaging. Star essentially says, hey, give me the latest stable version for this package. So let's see what that does in the NuGet UI. Let's go to Manage NuGet Packages. All right. So here you can already see that something looks a little off. It says I have version 0.0.0 installed, which is not a version that actually exists. While I can see in the Solution Explorer the actual correct resolve version, which is 5.7. So that's the latest version available. And we can kind of check that by, yeah, there you go, latest stable 5.7. So of course, this just on its own can be a little bit frustrating for customers. It can also be particularly frustrating when you update to a new explicit version of NuGet.packaging. And because you're, so let's say I go to 5.6, and because it doesn't surface that you're using a floating version right now, it'll overwrite the initial value, the floating version you requested with the explicit version. So if I go back to my project file, I should have 5.6. But it's really difficult for you to know that it's going to do that. So let me go into what we're going to do about it. So there's some obvious elements here, like showing the actual proper requested version in the version list, as well as in the installed field. But something that we knew would add a lot of value to customers' experiences would be to not only show the correct resolved version in the installed and package list, but also allow you to request custom versions directly through the UI. So the plan here is to turn the version field not just into a drop down of the existing available versions, but into a combo box field that actually allows you to put in custom inputs. So here I'll be able to input star, and it'll add the value to the list, and once I click update, it'll change the value in my project file to star, and it'll request the latest stable version. Similarly, if we were going to create support for custom version requests, we didn't want to just stop at star. Why wouldn't we support custom version ranges as well? So now it's a lot clearer to the customer that they have a custom version request specified, while also showing the correct resolved information. So essentially, put a lot more power in your hands to be able to play around with your version requests directly through the Visual Studio UI. Now, your next question might be, all right, this is great for the project level view, but what if I have a really large solution with a lot of different projects and a lot of potentially different versions of the package throughout that solution that I want to try to consolidate? So that's what the solution view is for, but we decided that we're going to add a little something to that as well to make this process easier. So we took a bit of a cue from the .NET CLI, where they show you the requested and the resolved version, and we created an extra column here in the solution view box so that you can see explicitly what versions you've requested, even if it's a custom version like a star, and the version it actually resolved to. Now, let's say I want all my packages across all of the same package across my solution to have the same version. I want them all to use star, for example. Today, there's no way to consolidate that easily. If you're going to do that by manually editing the project file, you'd have to go through every single project file and add star to it. Well, now we'll show you the superset of all the different custom versions that you have in the drop-down list. So if I want to consolidate all of my projects to use star, I can do that really easily, and I won't create any misalignments in my solution. So to show you a demo of what we have so far, here you can see I'm going to request 4.10.star. Which should give me the latest version in the 4.10 range for mock package. And then once that's installed, it's going to be a little quick. So make sure you take a look at the the package list, as well as the installed field, and you'll be able to see that it properly resolves to the proper version. It doesn't show me 4.10.0 by default. Ooh, that went a little fast there at the end, but you could also see that it showed the 4.10.star in the project file. So essentially, the kind of paradigm change that we're making is that we want the version field to always be a direct reflection of what's in your project file. So there should be much less confusion whenever you're using floating versions, and you have a much lower likelihood of accidentally overwriting something that you didn't mean to. All right.
Super cool. Oh my gosh. Especially the ranges in it. I wasn't expecting to have that kind of syntax available. What do the ranges look like in the CS project?
Right, so they can look like a lot of different things. Let me go back to the example here. Yeah, so this is pretty much exactly how it would look in the project file. I can kind of show you the same example here. So let's say I want to do between 5.0.
Just use like brackets. Okay.
Yeah. So this should be valid. There we go. And so the way the version, I don't want to go into too much detail, but the way the custom version ranges work is that it'll take the minimum version that you specified. So Today, this works perfectly fine. In the project file, you'll see it resolves to the correct requested version. But if I go to manage NuGet packages, right, it doesn't surface, even though it shows the correct resolved version, it doesn't show me that I'm using a custom version range. So that means if I ended up updating, or actually let's do something newer here. Let's say I ended up updating to 5.3, for example, because it only shows me I was using 5.0.0. All of a sudden, I've overwritten it.
Okay. Well, if I then like make an update to the CS proj, does it override what's in the package manager UI? Like they're kind of, it's just whatever is most recently updated?
Yes, that's exactly right. So so let's say I had previously an explicit version here, and then I added a custom version range to the project file because I just love hand editing the project file. It should show you exactly what you put in the project file here in the version box. We want this to be a mirror reflection.
Okay.
To make sure that there are no misalignments.
Yeah, so it's always in sync. Cool. Oh my gosh, super, super interesting. Okay, you got a few questions. Let me scroll through. So one of them was generally, I don't know if lock files exist in NuGet. Curious.
Say that one more time.
I don't know if lock files exist in NuGet. So I think this is sort of how to have, actually the next question kind of hints at, so how do you get kind of repeatable builds? So things that will actually never change so that you make sure your each build is using the exact same dependencies. Do we have a guidance for that?
Right. So we're still working on, I think, improving our documentation around guidance for best practices around using floating versions and lock files. But to answer the question, NuGet does have support for lock files, and you can use a lock file to lock down your dependencies and make sure that you have repeatable builds. That is something that we do have support for.
Okay, nice. Okay, I was also wondering this. It did look like you started with a straight bracket and then ended with a parentheses in the range, and I was a little freaked out. I wasn't sure I would call it out, but since
right. So that's so you could also do a soft bracket at the beginning. It basically hard bracket means including, soft bracket means not including, but
cool.
That range. Right,
yeah,
so I
that
could
makes
do
a lot of
do
sense.
double hard brackets. I could do double soft brackets. Either one should work. You
or
can
parentheses. I don't know what I said. That's probably what those are called.
Yeah, soft brackets. I don't know why I had that in my head. Is that what you said?
I just try to make them with my hands so that.
Or is that what I came up with?
I was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna go with it.
Thank you for just repeating whatever language I'm using. Oh boy.
Yeah, anyone who has questions about how to use that stuff, especially since it should be easier to use it going forward, feel free to check out the NuGet documentation. We have a lot of different examples.
Yeah, I think this is just a general request. Can the display be improved when NuGet packages are specified in props files, like showing from which file that they're specified?
Right. I believe that's also something that we're currently working on. I don't, that's not within the scope of this feature immediately. But that's definitely something that we're keeping in mind as we make changes to the version list. And yeah.
I can imagine we're super excited to be releasing like parameter hints, and it gives like an inline tiny text version of like the parameter name that the method is expecting, so you can kind of reuse it. I could imagine some kind of floating tip next to it with a path or something like that. All good.
Yeah. Oh wow, yes.
That seems like an interesting idea. And actually, one thing I didn't mention that might be kind of cool to customers is as you type in, so let's say I type in 10.star for newtonsoft.json, for example, the metadata in the package details pane will automatically reflect what that's going to resolve to, at least based on whatever feed you have selected. So that means if you are sometimes playing around with this stuff and you're not super sure what 10.star is exactly going to resolve to, we can show you a preview of the version that you're going to get.
Ooh, I like that. That'd be great. Okay, one last question, then we can move on to the rest. Is a similar experience for floating version coming to VS for Mac as well? Where's our support at right now?
I don't think floating version support is currently a top priority for VS for Mac.
Mhm. Like we
but-
haven't even released it for VS yet, so it'll
Yeah,
be
exactly.
delayed a bit. as happens.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sure that if you tweet at them and say that that's a priority for you, or file an issue, you know, you can kind of make that happen.
You know, politely asking will get you super far.
Mhm. Community engagement.
There
Yeah,
we
or
go.
in that case, a lot of yelling. But we got
Mhm.
there.
Yeah,
you know.
it's more difficult for us on the receiving end.
Yeah. Just
Cool.
a little.
And ooh, I like this one actually. Sorry, I said that would be the last one before we moved on, but is there Nougat UI planned for VS Code?
Right. So currently, an official first-party NuGet UI for VS Code is not planned.
Okay.
There are, however, current third-party extensions that are kind of built that are, I think, somewhat similar to the existing NuGet UI in
Oh.
Visual Studio. So, you know, I haven't played around with them too much, but with the little I did play around with them, they seem pretty good. So it might be worth checking out.
Yeah. The main thing that I really miss is the absolving NuGet packages for solution. I don't know how to do that. Can you do that from the command line with the NuGet package manager console? Or is it just through the UI so far?
I believe right now it's just through the UI.
Okay. That's what I'm missing. Sorry. I'll stop giving you my feedback. So what else did you have for today?
Right, so let me go back to sharing my screen.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta wait for it. When it pops up, I'll add it. Boom.
All right, let me switch. There we go. So we avoided the little inception thing. All right, so the next big feature that I'm excited to announce, you know, some of you who follow the @NuGet Twitter or follow me on Twitter, which if you don't, you should, may have seen that I've been recently asking for customer feedback around READMEs as well. I actually posted a little preview recently as well, just to give people an idea of what that's going to look like. But I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about it here, because I really do feel like this is a game-changing feature for NuGet.org and for Visual Studio at some point. So let's get into it. So what do I mean by embedding and displaying a README? So what I mean is we want to be able to include a README file, a README markdown file in your NuGet package. So currently, there actually is already an existing workflow to add documentation to your package today, but it's a post-package upload step. That means that after you upload your package to NuGet.org, you have to specify either a URL to your README or documentation, or manually, you know, add it in, and then it'll show on the package details page. But because of that kind of extra friction of having to do it after you've already uploaded your package, in general, we haven't seen awesome adoption of the documentation feature. So that's kind of the motivation we had for making this an embedded experience. So as with all of the package properties that we support, you'll be able to specify a README file within the Visual Studio package properties pane. The same way that you do like an icon file or a license file, you'll be able to look for it in your folder, in your project, and add it to your package there.
Nice.
If you prefer to manually edit the project file, you're one of those floating version power users and you just love playing with the project file, you can also add it using the package README tag. So what happens after you've added it to your package? So let's say I've added my README to my package. The next step is to upload it to NuGet.org for everyone else to be able to enjoy. So I'm going to give you a bit of a preview of what the experience for the manual upload process on NuGet.org is going to look like. So here I'm adding my package. And you can see that there is a preview of what the README file is going to look like on NuGet.org. So if you're concerned about some kinds of formatting, or you want to double check that your README looks good before it's shown to potentially thousands or millions of people, then
Your
this is
thousands of fans.
yeah. This is the best way to do that. And just to make sure that if you have a really long README, we don't push the submit button 2 miles down the page. The window is going to be a limited size that you can just scroll through to quickly check your README file before you finally submit. Now, you can also, of course, upload your package using the CLI workflow, using the .NET CLI, .NET Push. There is not currently a preview experience for that. However, we will try to give you intelligent warnings that help you fix things if anything's wrong with your README file. Now, just to give you an idea of what the end experience is here, I want to show you a side-by-side of a really popular Azure package, azure.storage.blobs, without the README and with the README. So you should be able to immediately tell the page is a lot richer. There's a lot more information at your fingertips, right? So right off the bat, if they uploaded the README today, you'd be able to see getting started. You'd be able to see key concepts about the package and examples of how to use it, right? So today I think, most of the feedback we get from customers is, hey, NuGet is great for finding packages that I already know I want. It's not as great for learning about packages and figuring out what a package does on the spot without having to Bing it or go to their linked project site or repo to see the README there. So I'm really excited that we're gonna make the package details experience on NuGet a lot richer and let people not only see important statistics about the package or view the version list or dependencies, but also let them figure out answer the question, what does this package do and how do I use it? Is this really what I want? In addition,
Awesome. Now it's just left up to the authors to actually have a summary of what the heck their package does. But this is super, super cool.
Yeah, exactly. So we're really excited from the package author standpoint. Sometimes we get, hey, NuGet is a little limited in the kinds of links I can show, the information I can show, because we have a kind of a predetermined sidebar of information that we have available. But now, if you want to add any links that you think are going to be really important to your customers, add it to your README. Yeah. It's an open canvas for whatever you think is important or valuable to your customers.
Promote your open source repo so you can get contributors and yeah.
Exactly.
This reminds me a lot of the Visual Studio extensions actually, and how a lot of times the README is exactly what we have on the Visual Studio Marketplace extensions page. So I'm glad this is like, oh, cool, same deal. We can use this.
Yeah, exactly. And the other really exciting part about it is, because a lot of READMEs also have things like examples and references that are really useful to you as you're learning to use a package. We also wanted to make sure that this was quickly accessible from Visual Studio. So in addition to the links that we've already had in Visual Studio in the past, we'll also be adding a field for the README link. So once you click this, you'll immediately be taken to the README for the package that you're looking at. So let's say I'm trying to work with a library I just installed, but I forgot how to use a particular functionality or a particular command, or I'm curious how this is going to work. I can very easily navigate to Manage NuGet Packages, go to its details, and then go to the README page to learn more about it or use it as a reference.
Awesome. That's super cool. I guess the question that occurs to me is if I already have a README because my NuGet package is open source and it automatically is like part of the repo at the root. We probably don't have any like detection to just automatically add it. People will keep it a manual step for it to show up on NuGet.org, I guess.
Right. So for the first release, we are not planning to have auto detection of READMEs. The reason being that because we haven't set that precedent for the .NET ecosystem yet, not necessarily everyone uses the README file for documentation, like might be a more common practice in other ecosystems. So just to make sure we don't surprise our customers or accidentally upload some information that wasn't the documentation they were hoping to upload.
Right.
We, at least for the initial release, until we see a little bit more adoption and we get customer feedback that, hey, I really wish this was just a faster automatic experience.
Yeah.
We're gonna have customers explicitly specify their README.
That sounds safe. You got some happiness. Great addition. Hoping it'll come soon. Yay. Cool. I know you have more PowerPoint slides. Do you want to get back into it?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is all super, super awesome.
Zhao Chen, you wanna share the
let me pull that up. Just a moment. Or if you already have the page open, it might be.
I can do it.
Okay, sweet.
I guess I stopped sharing a little prematurely.
No worries. I'll add that
All
back
right.
in. Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Quickly, go back.
go back. Yeah.
Hold on, I took it down. We don't want to ruin our fun times in PowerPoint.
All right, I'm on the right slide now.
Ready? All right, adding it back in. Oh, I think. There we go. Wait, is that the right one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Spoilers. True.
So, like I was saying, I think we mentioned a couple times earlier about the experiences that are coming soon to Visual Studio and to Nougat.org. A lot of these are still in progress, even though they're coming relatively soon. And we'd still love to hear your feedback. Even if it doesn't make it into the initial release, we're going to be iterating on these things and adding to them going into the future. And even if you don't have comments about the specific features that we mentioned today, in general, we love to hear your feedback. We want to know what's important to you. And that's the best way that we can develop experiences that create a lot of value for you. So the best ways to do that are to either start a dialogue with us on Twitter. So you can tag @Nougat or at myself. I'm at CH. Oh, this is actually not correct. I'm at Chris Ray Gill. This is me. I'm at Chris Ray Gill. Zhao Chen is at Zhao Chen Zhang, and we also have another PM. John, who you may have, if you follow the Nougat account or you follow him on Twitter, you may have heard a lot from because he's also been posting the link I'm about to get to, asking for feedback. So something that we've also started doing very recently is that we've committed to significantly increasing the amount of customer interviews and the amount of customer outreach that we're doing. So if you want to take some time to actually talk to us kind of in person,
as in person as we can get these days.
Oh man, remember places?
I remember places. Weren't those fun?
But yeah, so if you want to book a call with us, to be more specific, usually it's going to be some PM and a couple engineers. Feel free to go to aka.ms/talk-to-Nougat, and you'll be taken to our bookings page. So we have a few of the features and areas that we are currently working on specified there, so you can schedule a specific call to talk about floating versions in the PM UI or READMEs on Nougat.org, or finding and choosing packages like Zhao Chen talked about earlier with the filtering process or the scoring metrics. These are all things that we would absolutely love your feedback on. So, if you have time and you have the interest, check out the link and schedule a call with us.
Guys, I just want to say I really admire this. It's sometimes really hard to just randomly add like a public endpoint to a team that has been maybe not like closed off, but I guess internal development has been happening for a really long time. So I'd really admire that you're getting out there and doing the live streams and scheduling all of this stuff. So like, I hope everyone watching knows that turning point, maybe this is exciting things that are happening. That's how I'm feeling, at least. So Super, super.
That's awesome to hear. And I have the rest of the presentation pulled up so we
Okay,
could.
I will share your screen actually. I
Sweet.
think I was
Alright.
still on Chris's. Okay.
Awesome.
There we go.
So something that we wanted to emphasize though before we go into hey community engagement, things like that, is we really want all sorts of comments. So these are some of the comments that we've gotten on a variety of surveys, and we read them and we're like, oh, they make us feel so good, we're so happy, like awesome. And then we'll just take one step outside of whatever sort of survey bubble we have, and then we see things like, is NuGet Surge rather odd?
Mean
Things
tweets.
like, oh no,
Here they come.
yeah.
NuGet team,
See,
read mean tweets.
I only found one poop emoji, and that has to do. But yeah, like why does NuGet have to be so not great sometimes?
I like this.
And this one, there was something very poetic about it that I was like, I don't know who you are, but I think you should write a book. Maybe not about roasting NuGet, but
Yeah, don't do that. Don't, please.
yeah, please don't. But
Don't restrict creative freedom. No.
yeah,
Oh, I like it.
But
No.
what we want to emphasize is that a bunch of these quotes here, especially the "Will I Stop Using NuGet" one, that's from like 1,000-word long blog post about things that NuGet can improve on. And actually, as I was reading through that, I wasn't going like, oh no, mean tweets. I was going like, problems are opportunities. You don't write 1,000-word long blog post about something you don't care about at all and you aren't going to hope for the best for. So we're really excited to work with all of you out here in the .NET stand-up, like beyond, all of that, in order to make NuGet a better package manager for everyone. So be honest, and we'll be honest too.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Super, yeah, super love how you guys are approaching the community and everything. Cool stuff.
That's awesome to hear. And we have one last thing that we wanted to bring up to you all. It's incredibly important. We hinted about it at the beginning of our live stream. And that question is, who are our contenders for NuGet official pronunciations? Do people have any guesses on what wins, what's common, what's popular? No? Just want to leave it a surprise.
Feel free to just spam the chat with all of your answers and attempts at phonetic pronunciation or typing phonetic pronunciation of how you think
not all of us are linguistics minors, even though we wish we were.
She's talking about me.
So, first up we have Nuget.
Like a fragrance. I like it.
Yeah, it's a
Very
complete
French.
package. Very French.
Manager.
Which, by the way, actually, I have the percentages so far from the poll we released on Twitter. So if anyone's curious, Nuget got approximately 4% of the vote.
Okay. So we like to joke about it, but we can't use it in everyday conversations. Okay, what else?
Yeah, I will say though that I don't even think Nuget is really the way to say it. If you don't say it with the proper inflection, I don't know it's representative. It's Nuget.
Okay, we got some good points in chat. How do you pronounce the NuGet package?
Oh no.
Because it's similar to cupcake. I like this. This is an option.
The most important questions. I am stumped.
I can't believe we missed that.
David Fowler says nupkegs.
Wait, okay. So something that I found out in my onboarding process that completely like not even horrified, but just stunned me for a moment is that sometimes people call NuGet packages nuggets, which makes sense because NuGet, but it just made me really uncomfortable to like read through threads where people are going like, yeah, like I'm gonna add some nuggets into my project. Like so that's a additional suggestion for that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even say it's some people. I think when we usually get our like Visual Studio like surveys back, I think most people when they refer to their packages say nuggets.
Honestly, like I feel like I should be changing here. Like I need to be more understanding. Yeah, this is
That's
the time for
the
me to for my heart to grow
introspection
10
that
times.
we need.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, I think you have a few more options.
Yes, we do. We have Nudge It. We
Excellent.
have Nougat, which we've been saying, and it's like the official version, but it's in the way where it's like GIF or GIF. Like, yes, it is the official version, but someone might fight you for it. So how official is it really?
Exactly. Some people, it looks like Nugget is a bit divisive.
Mm,
We've got, I
speaking
get
of,
heart palpitations when I hear nuggets.
oh yeah, that yeah.
Controversial. It's hard when you
Speaking of
brand things.
nuggets,
Yeah. Sometimes you have to. Oh, shoot, what was I gonna say? Sorry, I'm too entertained by the comments coming in. It implies it's installed using git clone. Yeah, I
oh,
hear that. 'Cause the Git is just, it sounds like it's Git related and it's not. Hmm. Interesting. Oh, I remember. I was gonna say, when you're branding things, sometimes even if you make like 90% happy, if that last 10% hates the option that you've chose, it might not be worth it. Maybe go for something a little bit more moderate, like mid-range. um, something that gently pleases
mm,
everyone, but nobody loves. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
So right
yeah.
now, Nougat is like 58%, and Nugget is 39. So
oh, interesting. Oh man, but are people just having fun with it, or do they actually use it this way? I don't know. Maybe
I've
the
I've
point is to just have fun.
uh,
I've heard Nugget.
I'm just
I
gonna
have
say, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jachan.
Oh, I was gonna say I have heard Nugget used many times. I can confirm that it is in use.
It's funny.
Well,
It's
I,
good.
I I actually want to get customer feedback here, right? Because we want to do everything. We're customer obsessed here at Nougat. We want to make sure that we run everything by our customers.
Yeah.
If Nugget wins the poll, does anyone want us to change the install button to order so you can order nuggets?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
This is,
I mean,
let's watch the chat. The
oh
chat.
boy.
See
And
what
I mean,
goes
I'll
in.
be like, I don't know, like
It's all
return.
up to you. It's all up to the
That would be
community.
strong.
You hold our fate in your hands.
Or would David Fowler's brain explode because he hates it?
Yeah,
Oh
David
man.
Fowler wrote a lot of Nougat. He was like I think the Nougat pioneer, but it's also a
Yeah. I
living,
don't know
living,
with
breathing
this
thing.
data. I don't know if we can do it with this data. Look at that face.
Nugget is wrong.
Thanks, guys, for partying on the chat. This has been really fun. Okay, cool. So I think that's the high note that we are ending on. Was there more? There's like an
Incredibly
infinite.
high.
I don't know why these two like syllables are so vague. They can go so many different directions, but here we are.
Here we are.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having us on, Kendra. It's been a
Yeah,
blast.
thank you guys. This is
Yeah.
great. Cool. So I can share the URL list one more time if you guys want to check out the links and the tweets that we've been posting. Actually, let me go ahead and post Chris's poll tweet. So
Ooh.
you guys pile on there and party all day and completely randomize Chris's notifications. That'd be great. You
Woo.
could just make him
Yeah.
unproductive.
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
my goal is to get as Twitter famous as you, Kendra. I'm
Wow.
slowly working towards it.
Thank you.
So
It'll happen. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I'll end for the day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Chris and Jiashan. I hope we can have you on many more times when you have more updates and versioning to celebrate and stuff. It was super good. All right. See you all on the flip side.
yeah, thank you so much.